So let's just jump right in. Have you ever stopped and wondered if your life would be, I don't know, better if you just put down your phone a little more? Well, two guys known as the minimalists asked themselves that exact same question, but they did it at the absolute peak of their online success.
And to really get why this is such a big deal, you have to see this number. 500 million. In just 1 year, that's how many people the minimalists reached through social media alone. We're talking 500 million people. An audience built on 200 million views and 4 million followers. I mean, that's just insane.
You'd think hitting numbers like that would be time to pop the champagne, right? But for them, it was the opposite. They felt trapped. It was always, okay, what's next? How do we get more? So right then, at the very top of their game, they did something, well, something pretty unthinkable.
They quit, just like that, for a whole year. No posts, no scrolling, nothing. At the absolute peak of their influence, they just walked away. So this wasn't just about a digital detox. It was a massive experiment. And what they discovered about our relationship with these little glowing screens in our pockets? Yeah, it's something I think all of us really need to hear. Okay, so here's the first huge lesson they uncovered. Getting to 4 million followers, it didn't feel like a win. It didn't bring that sense of, we made it. Instead, it just made them hungry for 10 million. And after that, 1 billion. It's this never-ending treadmill of more, more, more. They actually put a name to this feeling. They called it digital consumerism. You know the idea, that if you just get more followers, more likes, more views, then you'll finally be happy. But it's a trap, right? Just like buying more stuff doesn't make you happy, this is a digital treadmill that just keeps getting faster. So what's the real cost of all this digital consumption? I mean, what's the downside? Well, when they started looking at the actual numbers, what they found was, honestly, it's pretty shocking. Okay, get this. The average person is on social media for almost 2 hours a day. But if you cross that 2-hour mark, your chances of being diagnosed with depression nearly triple. Just let that sink in for a second. Triple.
And it's not just about clinical diagnoses. Look at how it affects how we feel about ourselves. A whopping 60% of people say social media has a negative impact on their self-esteem. And for teens, it's even worse. Nearly half say it makes them feel worse about their bodies. All of this data, all these feelings, it led them to this really powerful and honestly kind of perfect metaphor for what's happening. They said, scrolling has become the new smoking.
And when you think about it, it makes so much sense, doesn't it? It's stimulating. It can be soothing, you know? When you just want to zone out. It's a little addictive, to say the least. You definitely get irritable if you can't do it. And come on, we've all been there. It's super annoying when someone else is doing it right in your face.
So with all this in mind, they knew that some 30-day digital declutter challenge just wasn't going to cut it. I mean, these guys are the minimalists. They had to go all in. So they committed to a full 1-year experiment to find out what life is really like without it. And the changes they saw over time were just wild. After just 1 month, you know that nervous twitch you get to grab your phone when you're in line? That was gone. 3 months in, the phone stopped being their bathroom buddy. And after 6 months, they were actually connecting with people in the real world again. We're talking phone calls, real text conversations, not just double taps and emojis. Now, look, let's be real. This experiment wasn't all sunshine and roses. It came at a cost. Their revenue actually dropped by 21%, which is a pretty big hit. But what they lost in money, they gained in something else. They traded audience width for creative depth. All that time they used to spend scrolling, they poured it into making a new documentary. So after the year was up, they didn't just jump back on like nothing happened. And they also didn't want to swear it off forever. Instead, they came back with a whole new way of thinking about it, a new metaphor, the digital table. Here's the idea. If you just drop a table in the middle of a room, it's just an obstacle, right? It gets in the way. But if you place it there with a purpose, it becomes a place to gather, to connect. And that's how they started to see social media. It's a tool that can be an obstacle, or it can be a hub for a community. And this table, it has 3 legs: consumption, creativity, and connection. But to use that digital table the right way, you have to be really honest with yourself. Think about it like this. There's our stated preference. That's what we say we use social media for. You know, I use it to keep up with friends and stay informed. But then there's our revealed preference, what the algorithm shows us we actually do, which is, watch hours of bar fights and proposal fails. That giant gap between the two, that's where we get lost. So the big question is, how do we close that gap? How do we start using this tool with intention? Well, they didn't just leave us hanging. They came back with 5 super simple, practical rules that you and I can start using right now to get our focus back.
All right, here they are. Rule number 1 is the casino rule. Before you even open the app, decide how much time you're willing to lose. Rule 2, search, don't just scroll. Go in with the purpose instead of letting the feed take over. 3, make your phone boring. Seriously, just switch it to grayscale. It makes it way less like a shiny slot machine. 4, declutter your apps. If you haven't opened it in 6 months, just delete it. And number 5, the entryway rule. When you get home, leave your phone by the door. Create some space.
And really, the big idea behind all of this is pretty simple. The goal isn't to throw your phone in a river. It's not about total renunciation. It's all about intention. It's about setting boundaries that work for you and shifting from just mindlessly consuming to actually creating and connecting.
And maybe the most powerful rule of all is this one. You have to give yourself complete and total permission to just walk away if any of this stuff starts getting in the way of your actual happiness and your health. Remember, you're the one in charge here, not the app.
Which really just leaves us with one final question to think about. We spend so much of our lives scrolling, searching for something, connection, entertainment, happiness, on these screens. But what if the thing we're looking for? What if it's found by just putting the phone down? What if real happiness is just one less scroll away?